Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the OnoCoffee channel. I'm Jay, your host, and back again on the road because today is a day to head again to Pennsylvania. I know some of you are like probably sitting there thinking, Pennsylvania again? What's in Pennsylvania? Well, today there is this customer appreciation event at a place called Paul B. Hardware in a town of Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And I don't know if you guys are much into tool shops. Craig, how are you? Keone, aloha to you. But there are hardware shops or hardware stores, and then there are hardware stores. And this place is the latter. Like, the first time that I went there, we were just blown away. Like, we were like, what in the world is this place? This is incredible. And so while I was in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, talking to Phil Martino, the rep for Festool, he was like, yeah, Paul B, because that's where I met him last year. Phil was like, they're having their customer appreciation day. And I was like, what's that? He's like, myself and all the reps from all the different, like, tool companies are going to be there. So you get hands-on with all this stuff. And I said, what? That sounds crazy. All right, let me go check that out. So I'm on the way there. Originally, my plan was to stop at a what do you call it? At a sawmill on the way up today. But then since I had to meet with my electrician this morning, and it took a little bit longer, I said, well, let's go to Paul B first and then go to the lumber later. So now we're going to go to get some coffee and donuts because this is the coffee show, right? So I have arrived, and they have a drive-up, which is kind of cool. So we're going to get some coffee. This place in my area is pretty well known. Now, you might have noticed the title of today's episode is called Virtue Signaling with Coffee and Donuts, and that's part of it. Okay, what are we having? We're going to have. Hi there. Can I have a glazed, just a regular glazed, a chocolate frosted?
All right, with sprinkles or without?
Yeah, with the sprinkles, please. And then you do a cooler.
We do. We have glazed coolers.
Excellent. One of those, please. And then you also, the last time I saw you had a cinnamon roll type thing.
We do. We have cinnamon buns with cream cheese frosting right now.
Could you put that in a separate bag? Like, could you put like maybe 4 in a separate bag?
See what we've got.
Thanks.
I'll let you know, yeah.
All right, so I have to say, I've been coming to this place, not this location, but their main location, which is a little bit of ways, for a long time, for quite many years. And the donuts here are really, really great, like really great. Worth the time to go. However, the problem is, and it wasn't so acute back in 2016, 2017, and all that, but
We've got 3 left. Will that do?
Another one.
All right, and just make it a half dozen with the cheaper.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Everyone here is always very nice. Well, at least at this location. Maybe it's just her, because I was here last time, and I think she was the one who served me back then. Very nice. And here's something that I do like. Look, the window's open. Right? That's important. No, that'll be all. Oh, I'm sorry. I do one thing.
Oh, okay.
A coffee.
Oh, small, medium, or large?
How big is the medium?
It is 16 ounce.
Okay, medium, but no cream and sugar.
Okay.
Just black. If you notice, the window of the drive-through window is open. It's not as hot as yesterday, but it is quite hot.
I need to text you so you have my number, if that makes it easier. All right, so half dozen and a coffee, $11.52.
Well, let me give you 52 cents, because I got the change somewhere here. Here's 52, and just get $8 back. It's fine. right, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
So what I like about this place is that, what I like about this interaction is that when you have the window open, if you go to most drive-through places, whether it's winter or fall or winter or summer, whatever it is, you know, they always close their door, and I hate, actually, I really hate that. Like that just irritates me. And I did roll my window because I wasn't really paying attention. But like, if you leave your window open, I normally will leave mine open because it's kind of like it's a nice touch. I don't know. It's one of these customer service things that I think about. That's like I think is important. I don't know. It's a connection thing, right? But anyway, so like I said, back in 2017, 2016, 2015, right around then, at their main location, their original location, I guess their headquarters, they put up this huge sign signaling their virtue, right? Which maybe back then it wasn't so cute. Today, in modern times, it is much more cute. Now, I must say that whatever happened in the intervening years, they do not put that up anymore. So I guess they must have received quite a lot of consternation regarding their virtue signaling. But to be honest with you, that's the reason why I'm not going to reveal the place. Because I'm like, you know what? It's just like when you're supporting state sponsored terrorism. It's kind of like that. And I'm like, oh, I guess I am supporting terrorism with buying the coffee, but I don't have to like talk about this. But I gotta say, the people at the people at the other location, it's hit or miss. You get some that are a little bit crotchety, but this one, I've had a couple interactions where everyone's very nice, so it's very pleasant. But the coffee is not. It's typical like donut short store coffee, so a little bit dirty, not the cleanest, not very sweet. But a lot of that is going to be overcome by your donuts, and that's really the key. Now, I did buy a bunch of donuts. You heard me wait. I got my hits right. I went to a Cutie says. Cutie says, "Whoa!" Before I crashed, had a nice dinner of inuguan. Oh, nice. Pork adobo and rice. Oh, that is a nice dinner. Oh, this is rice cake and coffee. Oh, beautiful. Russell, good morning to you, man. How are you doing? So, I got my hits. And my hits are uh, chocolate frosted. Always love chocolate frosted. Always one of my favorites. I grew up in America, right? I grew up at a time in America where this is what you ate. And then the glaze. The glaze, there's always a nice thing to get the glaze. Because to me, the glaze is like the base of what you do. Right? So, like, when I go to, like, ice cream places, I typically want to try their vanilla. Mom, good morning to you. And because to me, the vanilla is the basis for everything they do, right? So it kind of gives you the foundation. Like if you go for the crazy flavors, and those are fun. Don't get me wrong; they have their place. But for me, I want to experience what is the core. And that's why I'll get vanilla at like ice cream shops, and I want to have a glaze at a donut shop to see what is it they do. And then the cruller is this crinkle one that's made like using a pate choux dough, which is a heated dough that becomes very fluffy and it's very, to me, texturally, I just love it. Like when it's done really well, it's like, then you go to someplace, like you go to Dunkin' Donuts nowadays, the Dunkin' Donuts, they made that donut like, 12 hours ago in their commercial factory somewhere, and they had to make it, put it into a box or into like a rack, and then transport it to the stores. It's like, come on. Dunkin' Donuts is quite disappointing on a general scale, where this place tends to be very, and then in the case of the frosted donut, I don't normally get sprinkles, but you know what? Sprinkles are kind of fun. So I was like, okay, they do sprinkles here. I'll have sprinkles. I think I'm kind of gravitating towards sprinkles on frosted chocolate donuts nowadays. JR, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so let's have a look. Oh, and I also got these three, what do you call it? cinnamon roll donuts. The last time I came here, I bought one, and I was like, I saw they had a sign of it for something, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me try one. And I thought they were cinnamon roll, but they're more like cinnamon roll. They're somewhere between cinnamon roll, like cinnamon, and donut. So I bought one, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty darn good. Very donut-like, but very good. And my mom is a big, like, she loves cinnabons. So I was like, oh, I'll buy some, and, I'll go see her later and bring some to mom, right? That's a nice thing to do. My brother, too, is a big cinnabon guy. Like, I'm not, I like cinnamon buns. They're cool. I dig it. I enjoy it. But, like, those two are, like, all out. And they, like my brother, if he sees a cinnabon store, he's, like, stopping. It doesn't matter what you eat. We could have had a whole, like, huge dinner. We're like, oh, cinnabon, gotta go. Which is good for him because, he's a fit guy. So I'm like, I can't do things like that. I'd be all like, oh, terrible, terrible. All right, so we're back on the road here to Linnets. Linnets is in the middle of South Central Pennsylvania. Is that right? Would that be South Central? And I'm actually passing the Harley Davidson. There's a big Harley Davidson place here. So if you're into motorcycles like Harleys, there's one of the big manufacturing plants is right there. Okay, so let's start with the classic. Here is the glazed donut, and it is very good. Another nice thing is when you go into the store, they will have day olds, and you can buy like a dozen day olds for like $7 or something pretty cheap. But it's like when I've gone to like events, like at one time I was going to this event up in Albany, New York, a couple years ago. And since my route took me this way, I was like, well, let me stop in and buy some donuts. So I bought some donuts. I brought them. So what I like about these are very fluffy. They're also rather dense. So while they've got nice chew, it's very springy. It's not light. But man, the chew is lovely. Springy, dense. Just a little bit of sweetness, not heavily sweet. Like, you go to like Dunkin' Donuts or other donut shops, and it's really heavily sweet. You're like, man, that is like cloyingly sweet. These are not like that. These are got beautiful balance and a maple kind of flavor to it. Which, considering the name of the company, makes sense. Which gives you a clue as to what the name is. Like if you were the intrepid type that really, really had to know, you could Google donuts in York, Pennsylvania, to figure out where I went. Oops. Ken says donuts are on. Oh man, thank you very much. That's very kind, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me like that. Hopefully, I don't crash while trying to do this. Did I like it? I don't know, but it's so much brightness, and it's coming through the glass, so it's kind of hard for me to see what is on the screen a little bit. Okay, but thank you, Ken. I really do. There's a heart cord to hold on. When I did something. This is not working out. Too many. The problem with this for driving with the live stream, which is probably a bad idea, I should never admit to that, is that if you try to manipulate things, there's too many buttons. Too many buttons. That's raised donuts are God's donut. Yes, I totally agree. And Russell says Krispy Kreme has. Oh yeah, if you guys, there's a brand from the Carolinas that really had a massive about 25 years ago called Krispy Kreme. Massive expansion.